fantastic, Rose. How are you, my dear?
I'm good, thanks. Welcome to another episode of Casting Notes from Rose and Kim. This is
Hi,
Kim
everybody.
Thompson in Los Angeles, and I'm Rose Rosen in Florida, and we're casting directors. How are you?
I'm dandy. How are you doing today?
You're always dandy. I don't know.
I am dandy. I like to be dandy and fantastical. Those are my two favorite things to be.
I don't know what I am anymore.
Well, it's great to see you. You've been staying busy?
Yeah, a little bit more. I don't know. It's all fine. Lots of busy. Lots of playing in that new Clubhouse app that we've been talking about.
Oh, cool. Yes, I'm definitely going to be a part of that soon. Here we have an amazing guest today. One of my favorite people I've known from Hollywood, who just has an incredible resume, an incredible history. He's just going to be the most terrific guest. So I'd like to bring him on for us to talk about some things today.
All right.
Conrad, are you there?
It's Conrad Bachmann.
There he is.
Hi, everybody.
How are you?
Good to see you too.
It's great to have you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So I wanted to talk with Conrad today because he has such an amazing history. Like, you've been in the business for 60 plus years. He has ridden the highs and lows of the entertainment industry in so many ways. Was in the service and performed through there as well. And he's just consistently working actor.
Yeah.
Is amazing. And I have to say, when I first met Conrad, my dad was so impressed. I met him and knew him because my dad remembered him from Dobie Gillis back in the day. And he said, and he's been on so many things. He's such a good actor. So even my dad, who's not in the industry, who doesn't keep up with, entertainment industry and who's who, like, loves Conrad. If you like a good, strong actor, you can't help but love him. So welcome.
Thank
Conrad.
you.
Yes.
Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah. So Conrad, I know you have so many stories. I mean, we could sit and have a drink and talk for days on end, because, as I've done with you.
Yes.
Right?
We need to do that again.
We do. I can't wait for this pandemic to be over, and I will come to the festival and we'll have a good time again. So, I would love for you to kind of tell us, like, how your career morphed several times. You started off as a dancer, song and dance man, tap dancing, which is one of the ways we kind of connected.
Yeah.
So tell us, like, how that morphed and how you ended up in LA and how you got in the film industry.
Well, it's kind of a long story, but I'll try to shorten it up as much as I can. Yeah, I did. I started out as a tap dancer. I was doing a lot of summer stock. I went into the Air Force after high school, and through some friends here in Louisville, I was a bypass specialist as an entertainer and got into special services. And every year, the Air Force would have a talent contest called Tops in Blue, and I would win that every year. And so I ended up with a show called Tops in Blue, and then traveled all over the world doing shows at airmen's clubs, NCO clubs, that sort of thing. But then they decided to send a group of us over to Okinawa to do Far Eastern shows, and through the Far East, through Japan, through Korea. And so I ended up doing those shows as a dancer. Got out of the service and went back to school. Ended up out in Vegas. My dad was in business in Vegas. I ended up getting fired by him. I went out to audition at the Sahara Club and ended up getting a job there. Left that job, came back to Kentucky, went to school. Somebody had seen me there. They called me up and asked me to come to Hollywood under contract at 20th Century Fox as a dancer to do South Pacific. I went out there. I ended up not doing South Pacific, but ended up under contract. Then when Elizabeth Taylor was doing Cleopatra, the studio was going bankrupt, so they let everybody go. I ended up parking cars at Trader Vic's, and a casting director would come in and out all the time. And one night he stopped and he looked at me and he said, "Are you an actor?" And I said, "Isn't everybody in LA an actor?" He handed me his card. He says, call me tomorrow. Next day I got up and I called him. I said, is Bob in? She said, who's calling? I said, well, is Bob in? This is the parking lot attendant from Trader Vic's. Anyway, I ended up going over there and he sent me down to the old Fox Western Studios, which used to be down on Sunset. And I walked in and two guys are sitting there across from each other, typing away. And they looked at me and said, you're fine, go back and see Bob. I went back down to the 20th to see Bob. He said, sign here. He says, oh, we're going to do one season. I said, wait a minute, what are we doing? He said, you're going to be a nasty guard in the Dobie Gillis series. We're putting Dobie in the Army. Welcome to 20th century. I said, I was just here. Anyway, that's my first series was Dobie Gillis. Parking cars at Trader Vic's.
I've done it many times as a casting director. I remember once I gave my card to a police officer because I was casting police officers and he looked authentic. And
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I was parking cars.
Yeah, and there you go. And there's your career. 60.
Well, and I tell actors when I talk to them, first of all, never take anything personal, and always be prepared, be ready, because you never know where it's going to happen. Of course, I don't think that happens as much today as it did in those old days. Today, it seems to be, I don't know, everything is on video.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, the truth is maybe it happens more.
Maybe.
I mean, I had one of the best agents, Herman Zimmerman. I swear to God, I don't care what I was doing. Herman always came to the set. Is everything okay? Do you need anything? Is there anything I can do for you? Always. And I mean, I just was lucky to end up with some of the best people in Hollywood.
No, it's important to have a great.
Yeah,
Then
you
I
got lucky with
I stumbled into commercials.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a commercial agent.
Hundreds and hundreds of commercials. So, and I know you have some great stories.
The first commercial I ever did, my girl I was dating at the time worked for Mary Webb Davis. She called me up. She said, there's a commercial interview. You're absolutely perfect. I said, actors don't do commercials. Those days we didn't do commercials.
Yeah.
And she said, let me tell you something. You're perfect for it. You should go on it. So I said, okay, I'll go on it. So I crashed the interview. You know, you remember in those days, I don't know if you all remember or not, but everybody would go in the room and then they'd go, you stay, you stay, you stay, you stay. The rest of you, thank you for coming in. And then you'd interview.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they kept eliminating. And finally it got down to me and they came running out and said, congratulations, you're a man. They said, who's your agent? Well, at that time, I didn't even have a commercial agent. So I just said, Mary Webb Davis. That's who my girlfriend worked for. Mm-hmm. So the next morning, I'll never forget, the phone rang and I heard this, who in the are you? And I said, who in the is this? And she said, I'm Mary Webb Davis. I said, well, I'm your new client.
Oh my God, that's funny.
I spent 2 days driving around in a Tempest Pontiac commercial with Linda Gray, with the top down, waving, smiling, and I made over $100,000.
I was going to say, you made her a good chunk of change too, didn't you?
I said, guess who's doing commercials? And I started doing commercials.
I mean, brilliant. And you've got projects in pre-production. You've got 2 movies in pre-production. You've got, you're working and continue to, and that's so impressive that you can do that for this many years.
I've got another movie coming up that they just postponed from February to May called The Wedding. It was called The Wedding Pact, and now we're doing a sequel to it called The Wedding. What the hell is it called? The Wedding Baby. The Baby Pact. Thank you.
Yeah.
The Baby Pact.
See, I know your resume better than you do.
Yeah, you do.
Well, and not only does he continuing to work as an actor, he's morphed and he created this amazing, wonderful international film festival. It's the Louisville International Film Festival.
That's true.
So tell our audience about that, when it is, what it is, how they.
We're in our 13th year, and we started it, years ago as well. As you attended the festival as a special guest. It's been extremely successful. We do features, shorts, and documentaries. And of course, this last year we did a virtual festival, which turned out to be hugely successful. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Right. We were table hopping all over the place in different locations with people all over the world. But anyway, this year it's in September 9, 10, 11, and we're doing a special event on the 11th with the co-responders, the first responders.
Oh, right.
So we're going to do a special event for them. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. And actually, I've ended up moving back to Louisville. The house next door to my grandson's came up for sale, and so we bought it.
Oh, that's
Right
perfect.
next-
Perfect.
Yeah.
No, that's good. And we'll drop links for all of your socials and all of this film
Oh,
festival.
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a terrific festival for anyone who's like in the Midwest who's looking for a really good film festival. I cannot recommend it enough. I mean, and we've had wonderful distributors show up looking for great films and things to distribute, and like he's doing it right.
Yeah, we get some
And a
good
couple of
guests
casting
in,
directors.
and we get a good crowd in. And now we're, as you know, we started the Walk of Fame of various famous Kentuckians, because I swear to God, there are more Kentuckians in the acting business than you can believe. I mean, even Irene Dunn and Henry Hull are from Louisville, Kentucky. Of course, you may not remember Henry. You're too young, both of you.
I only hope I am. All right, listen, this has been a delight. Conrad, I hope you'll come back and see us again. Thank you
Love to.
for coming. Stay safe, and goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next time on another episode of Casting Notes.
Don't
Okay.
forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification